station of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Arizona.
It's another beautiful night under Arizona's desert sky. We're at Salt River Field at Talking Stick, where the D-backs have another sellout crowd on hand, hosting one of their NL West rivals. Tonight, it's the San Francisco Giants. Arizona Diamondbacks spring training baseball is presented by Ram Trucks. Good evening from Scottsdale. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly along the way. Tonight, the Diamondbacks go for their 6th straight win. Ty Blach on the mound for the Giants, and for the D-backs, it's Ruby De La Rosa. Bob, last time we saw Ruby, 4 scoreless innings against the Royals. He had 5 strikeouts.
Yeah, he looked really good in that ball game. If you go all the way back to the 2011 season when Ruby made his debut for the Los Angeles Dodgers in the big leagues, baseball people have been saying as soon as this guy figures it out, he is going to be a force on the mound. Hopefully this is the year he figures it all out. He's had a nice spring so far, works very well with Wellington Castillo, and seems to get along very good with the new pitching coach, Mike Butcher.
And Chip Hale says Ruby De La Rosa will be his 4th starter. He'll start the opener of that Cubs series at Chase Field the first week of the regular season. Cactus League baseball on the way. It's the Arizona Diamondbacks and San Francisco Giants right here on Fox Sports Arizona Plus. Is presented in part by Sanderson Ford. The best play is at Sanderson Ford. Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. Cox Gigablast. How will you live the gig life? And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you get more standard features for less money.
It's a beautiful night for baseball here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Salt River Fields, Arizona Diamondbacks take on the San Francisco Giants. I'm J.R. Cardenas. Today we get a great opportunity to speak in their native language to Yasmani Tomas and Mr. Gene Segura. We're going to ask him some personal questions, live, family, and of course what looks to be an exciting season of baseball in their native language. And I'll be translating in English for everybody to understand exactly what they're saying. We got a great night of baseball here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Make sure you stay tuned as the Diamondbacks take on the San Francisco Giants live from Scottsdale at Salt River Field.
Arizona is presented in part by Nissan. Get great offers on 5 exciting new models at Nissan now. Shop ChooseNissan.com today. Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. By Tire Pros. For the best selection of Continental and General brand tires, visit one of our 22 locally owned locations. By Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Double Jack Burger today, only at Jack in the Box. And by Law Tigers, Arizona's motorcycle lawyers. Another sellout crowd here tonight at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. D-backs have had 7 sellouts this spring, including the last 6 games here. And the next 2 lined up to be sellouts as well. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly, J.R. Cardenas along the way on Fox Sports Arizona Plus. It's the Diamondbacks and Bruce Bochy's San Francisco Giants. This is the second half of a day-night split squad doubleheader for the Giants. Half the team was in Glendale this afternoon, where they were beaten by the White Sox 8-7. Brandon Belt homered for San Francisco off Matt Latos, and Jake Peavy, despite giving up 4 runs in 4 2/3, had 8 strikeouts for the Giants. But most of the regulars, Bob, are here tonight ready for the Diamondbacks.
A very representative ball club for Bruce Bochy and the Giants. Denard Span will lead it off out in center field. Angel Pagan moves over to left field. Matt Duffy at third base with Hunter Pence, you see right there in your shot. He'll be out in right field. Brandon Crawford at shortstop. Kelby Tomlinson at second base. George Kataris doing the catching. Grant Green at first base. And Ty Block doing the pitching tonight for the Giants.
Diamondbacks begin tonight, winners of 17 of their 22 Cactus League games, the best spring training record in the major leagues. Chip Hale's ball club has won 5 straight and 13 of its last 14. It almost, Bob, makes you a little nervous. Things are going so well.
Yeah, I ran into Roland Heeman, who's been around professional baseball for 64 years, and he had a little twinkle in his eye. He said, this has been a fun spring. This team has a chance to do something special. I think everybody in that third base dugout and all the coaches sitting up in front of the dugout feel the same way.
Well, it was fun here last night. They beat the Brewers on Nick Ahmed's walk-off single with 2 outs in the 9th inning. To make it 5 in a row, they'll go for 6 straight here tonight with Ruby De La Rosa on the mound. And boy, Patrick Corbin was sensational again last night. He looks like he's set for a big year.
You almost want to start the season right now for Patrick Corbin. Don't want to waste any more bullets down here in the Cactus League. He looks like he's ready to go. His stuff is very crisp. His mechanics are very good right now. Patrick can't wait to take that ball for Game 3 of the season.
And all this on-the-field success has created one issue for Chip Hale and his coaching staff. They have to make some decisions here, some critical roster discussions all the way down, he says, probably right until before opening day, perhaps as late as those final 2 games in the spring that last weekend at Chase Field against the Royals. So the competition level is at an all-time high here in Arizona.
It's a standard operating procedure for major league teams not to make a move until you have to. So I think it will come right down to those last 2 spring training games at Chase Field. And guys are going to try to take full advantage of the opportunities presented between now and then.
Jake Lamb out there at third base again tonight. He had a rough game defensively. No getting around that. Jake had 3 errors last night, so you'll see if he can get back on the horse tonight. Our Eye on Defense brought to you by Nationwide Vision Centers.
He had 3 errors in 5 innings. I made 4 in 1 inning, so he had a good night as far as I'm concerned. Yasmani Tomas in left field. Jason Bourgeois out in center. David Peralta out in right field. Jake Lamb and Gene Segura on the left side of the infield. Chris Owings and Paul Goldschmidt on the right side. Wellington Castillo behind the plate. For right-hander Ruby De La Rosa.
It's the 4th Cactus League start for Ruby, the 27-year-old right-hander. He'll be the number 4 starter in the D-backs rotation this season. He won his previous 2 outings, wins over the Mariners and the Royals.
You know, touched on in the open of the show, this guy forever has had one of those arms that scouts just love, pitching coaches just love, but for whatever reason has never been able to put it together consistently for a full season. And the Diamondbacks and Ruby are hoping this is the year it all comes together for him.
Oh, the Diamondbacks and Giants, Bob, will be getting very familiar with one another here the next couple of days because they are right back at it here at Salt River tomorrow afternoon. So it's time for our Valley Honda keys to the game.
Anytime you play a team in your own division in the Cactus League, take some notes. See what these guys are doing. What are they hitting? What are they taking? What are the pitchers throwing? What kind of defense do they play in certain situations? Pay attention. And sleep fast. This is a situation that comes up many times during the regular season. A night game followed by a day game followed by a plane flight to the next city. So with the day game tomorrow at 1:10, sleep fast.
That's Robbie Ray and Matt Cain tomorrow afternoon, a 1 o'clock start. But we are set to go tie block for the Giants and Ruby De La Rosa for the Diamondbacks. And one of the new Giants, Denard Span, set to lead it off. Bill Miller is our plate umpire on a windy night in Scottsdale. Wind blowing out to right center field.
Boy, and a batting practice on the backfield was any indication, you better keep the ball down tonight. We know how it jumps down here in the thin air in Arizona anyway, and with the wind blowing straight out, it could be a hitter's night.
It's windy all day here in the Valley. Span hitting just .212 in spring training with a home run. He's driven in 6. A 3-year, $31 million free agent contract from the Giants. He will be their center fielder and their leadoff man if, and it's a big if, he can stay healthy. Only 61 games with Washington last year, lingering back problem. Eventually wound up needing sports hernia surgery. Jason Bourgeois in center, can't get it, and Span's on the run. He'll stop at second, a leadoff double. That one might have gotten up there in that wind a bit.
I think it caught the jet stream right there. Bourgeois looked like he had a beat on it initially, and much like Paul Goldschmidt's triple yesterday, this ball just kept carrying, and eventually gets over the head of Bourgeois all the way to the wall.
Leadoff man in scoring position. So they got Span to lead off and play center field. So that required them to have a conversation with Angel Pagan, and they told him, guess what, you're the left fielder. He was a little less than thrilled initially, but all seems to be going well this spring. 10 hits in 22 at-bats.
Well, given the way he played center field last season for the Giants, I think he would welcome a move to left field where he didn't have to cover quite as much ground. He had some real issues in center field, especially at their home ballpark.
And like some of these guys, he's getting on in years. He's 34. He'll be 35 in July. And after a pair of injury-plagued seasons in San Francisco, healthy enough to get into just over 130 games last year, but you've got to think the wear and tear might have become too much for those knees in center field. Wellington Castillo behind the plate.
Anytime you see a middle infielder go to the mound along with the catcher and there's a runner at second base, this is probably a meeting about the signs. What are we using with the man on second base? Don't be in too big a hurry. Let me get through all the signs before you come up into a set position. And Gene Segura just wanted to make sure he knew what the signs were out there at shortstop. Gave him the verbal sign when he went out to the mound. Didn't even hang any fingers down that time.
We talked about this. Pagan laces it down the right field line, but it is pulled foul.
And as you will hear throughout the evening, anytime the Giants travel in the Cactus League, their fans travel well. Lots of orange and black in the stands tonight.
They pack him in at Scottsdale Stadium. They were in Glendale earlier today playing the White Sox.
Of course, Giants fans are anticipating another world championship this year since it is an even numbered year.
They've kind of had a system lately. 2-1. Pagan last year, .262 and 3 home runs. Right field for Peralta, and David runs it down. Span tags and heads for third.
Nice productive at bat that time by Angel Pagan. Throughout that at bat was consistently trying to pull the ball to right field. Ultimately gets that fly ball deep enough to advance Span onto third.
One out. Infield will creep in now as Matt Duffy steps in. The third baseman. Duffy 10 games this spring. He's hitting .323 with a home run. And he's knocked in 5. So strike 1.
Good sinking action on that fastball. Ruby's consistently been in the mid-90s here in the early going with a lot of late movement.
Just missed that same location that time. A ball and a strike. Duffy played here Sunday afternoon. The Giants beat the Rockies 10-4. He was 3 for 4 at the plate. They love him in San Francisco. Runner-up to the Cubs, Chris Bryant, for the NL Rookie of the Year award. And Ruby gets a big strikeout. Castillo hangs on. 2 down.
There's a lot of hand-wringing in San Francisco when Pablo Sandoval went to the Boston Red Sox. How are we ever going to replace the Kung Fu Panda? Well, Matt Duffy did a pretty nice job down there at third base, and they quickly forgot about the Kung Fu Panda.
And the Panda in Boston has turned into a parade float. That's been problematic this spring. Here's Hunter Pence. Only 6 games this spring, but he's homered 3 times and driven in 6. A home run yesterday against the A's at Scottsdale Stadium. And Pence only 19 at bats. The Giants held him back for a bit once the Cactus League season began. They made absolutely sure he would pass every trainer's test they could come up with after some Achilles tendonitis in his right foot. They were taking no chances. Center field, base hit, 1-0 Giants. Hunter Pence at it again.
Not always the prettiest swing from Hunter Pence, but very effective. Gets the barrel on the ball more often than not. Really spread out in that right-handed batter's box. Just a little floating line drive into center field for an RBI knock.
Here's the shortstop, Brandon Crawford. Crawford hitting an even .300 this spring. He's got 6 extra base hits, including a pair of homers. And always important for Ruby during these Cactus League games to work down and into left-hand hitters. It's one of the things he's worked on all spring long. Righties last year versus De La Rosa hit just .214. But that opponent's batting average jumped up to .315 against left-hand hitters. And that has been priority 1 for De La Rosa. That's got to improve.
His natural fastball has a lot of tailing, sinking action, and occasionally when he tries to get in on the lefties with that sinking fastball, it tends to stray back out over the middle of the plate.
That was one of the really encouraging things about the last time we saw Ruby. And it was against Kansas City. He did very well against the Royals' best left-hand hitters. Worked down and in to guys like Eric Hosmer, Mike Moustakas, Kendrys Morales. Gave up just 4 hits in that ball game. Had 5 strikeouts. Retired 10 straight at one point. But behind on Crawford, 3-0. Kelby Tomlinson on deck.
No doubt Crawford has the green light here, 3-0 if he gets a pitch to his liking. I think just about every team in spring training turns their hitters loose 3-0.
Nothing close there to Crawford. A 2-out walk, and here's Tomlinson. So many times we've seen Ruby struggle in the first inning of ball games. Most times he figures it out and is very good from the first inning on, but it's another shaky start here tonight.
Occasionally he tries to be a little bit too fine, and as we've seen already in this inning, even though he's not hitting the strike zone, he's got such movement on his fastball. Everybody encourages him, just throw it down the middle, let the ball move. Inevitably they're going to hit the top half of the baseball and put it on the ground, but when you consistently fall behind in the count, that's when hitters can really zone you in.
Tomlinson in there at 206. He's starting at second base today. He got a lot of playing time over the second half of last season when Joe Panik was out with back trouble. And did a good job, hit 303 with a pair of home runs. That's the inside strike call there. It's 1-1. Ruby at 20 pitches. He's got Pence at second and Crawford at first. Dropped into right center, and this is trouble. Pence will score. Crawford is flying around third. He's coming home as well. And Kelby Tomlinson has a two-run triple. And they throw it away. He'll come all the way in. 4-0 Giants.
Right on a pitch out over the plate, drives it into that gap in right center field. Good relay. Unfortunately, it looked like the ball might have hit Tomlinson in the back as he was sliding into third base, got away from Jake Lamb and snuck into the Diamondbacks dugout right there. That was Manny Tomas right there to back up the play, just didn't anticipate the ball hitting the runner.
They score that a triple for Tomlinson. He comes in E4 on the relay. The error charged to Chris Owings, and the Giants will put up 4 in the first against Rubin. George Kataris, the catcher tonight, steps in. Did not play in the big leagues last year. Signed a minor league deal with the Giants in January. 4 for 16 this spring. 47 AAA games with the Blue Jays and the White Sox last year. Giants are running out of backup catchers right now. They're a little short behind Buster Posey. Andrew Susac, who missed much of last season after right wrist surgery, has a bone bruise on that same wrist that's causing some inflammation. And Trevor Brown, who's had a very good spring, was hit on the forearm on a backswing against Oakland yesterday, so he's got a nasty bruise on that left forearm. So they have had to scramble the Jets in terms of catchers. And Ruby strikes out Kataris. Second strikeout in the inning for De La Rosa, but the Giants get 4. The Giants 4-0 set for the home half of the first inning. A head scratcher there for Chip Hale.
Yeah, tough top half of the first inning, but Diamondbacks will get their hacks here in the bottom half of the inning. And here's how Chip lined them up tonight. Gene Segura will lead off and play shortstop. Chris Owings batting second at second base. Paul Goldschmidt at first base will bat third. David Peralta cleaning up out in right field. Wellington Castillo doing the catching. Yasmani Tomas in left field. Jake Lamb at third. Ruby De La Rosa batting eighth. And Jason Bourgeois, the center fielder, batting ninth.
For the Giants, 25-year-old left-hander Ty Blach already optioned to AAA Sacramento this spring after a disappointing season there last year. Gene Segura leads it off for the Diamondbacks. And there's strike one.
Blach's not overpowering. His fastball will sit in the high 80s, occasionally touch the low 90s. Has a really good straight changeup that he occasionally overuses. There's one right there.
Yeah, he's a nibbler out there. He needs to work the corners and command that fastball. Segura, a high chopper to Crawford. One down. Take a look at the Giants defensively. Our Eye on Defense brought to you by Nationwide Vision Centers.
Across the outfield, left to right, Angel Pagan in left, Denard Span in center, Hunter Pence over in right field, Matt Duffy at third base, Brandon Crawford recording the first out for the Giants tonight. At shortstop, Kelby Tomlinson playing second base, Grant Green over at first base, George Kataris doing the catching for Ty Blach.
Chris Owings in at second base tonight. CO at 316, his first dozen Cactus League games. He's got 4 RBIs. Fifth Cactus League start tonight for Ty Blach, the lefty. Second time he's seen the Diamondbacks. The first time was a rough day for him. That was March 12th in Scottsdale Stadium 10 days ago. D-backs got him for 5 runs on 6 hits in 3 innings. Over the glove of Green at first. A base hit for Owings. A 1-out single. Here's Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie has hit in 6 straight. Tripled the deep center field last night. He's at 308 this spring, a homer and 8 RBIs. Goldie, toughest hitter in the National League against left-hand pitching last year. Hit .364 versus lefties to lead the league. Two balls and a 1 strike.
Even though Blach is not overpowering with that fastball, we saw him touch 91 that time. He will pitch inside to right-handers. As you mentioned, he needs to work the corners. He needs to move the ball around. And we're told he's very effective pitching inside to righties.
He's got a funny delivery. There is some deception there. But the mechanics, a little inconsistent, a little choppy, I guess. It's a weird motion.
When you have a lot of moving parts or you have some deception in your delivery, a lot of times it goes right along with an inability to repeat that delivery.
Got one by him there. The count is full, 3-2. He'll spot the fastball, hit the corners. A lot of moving parts, though. Not a guy who misses bats.
Of course, the Giants have the poster boy for inconsistent mechanics in Johnny Cueto.
Goldie fights it off, and it drops in front of Span. Owings on the run. He'll head for third. Diamondbacks have runners on the corners with a 1 out.
No stride from Goldie, just kind of rocks up on the toe of his left foot and then drops that heel back down on the ground right in the same place. Drives that bat through the hitting zone. I talk about it all the time. For a power hitter, he has one of the quickest bats in baseball.
So Goldie is now hit in 7 straight. He's at first, Chris Owings at third, David Peralta. More at bats against a left-hander for David, who's had a quiet spring. Look out, that one off the glove of Kataris. It almost went over the backstop, and Owings will score. It came about 6 inches away from going over that thing completely and in the seats.
Well, if you're going to throw a wild pitch, make it really wild. Spikes that fastball over in the right-handed batter's box. Might have hit somebody's toe hold in that right-handed box to cause it to bounce that high in the air.
Look out. David this spring hitting under 200 with 1 home run. But he's had, for the most part, good at bats. He's walked as much as he struck out through his first 13 games. Right back to the mound, and they have Goldie hung up. Peralta will sneak in at second, and they put the tag on Goldschmidt. He was kind of stuck in no man's land there.
As a base runner at second, you're taught anything hit to your left, it's safe to advance. The wild card is the pitcher a good fielder? And this time Block comes up with the play and has Goldie out in no man's land. But good base running by David Peralta, the trail runner, getting into scoring position as Goldie was hung up in that rundown.
Well, some beef Wellington on the menu again tonight. A sensational spring for Wellington Castillo, batting .480. He's got 15 RBIs in 9 games. 12 hits, 11 of them for extra bases, 8 doubles and 3 home runs. One and one. Ty Blach, a 5th round pick by the Giants 4 years ago out of Creighton University in Omaha. He was 11-12 at AAA Sacramento in the Coast League last year. The ERA over 4.5. 2-1 is popped up. Very shallow left center. They've got this thing surrounded. And Span comes in and makes the glove save and a beauty. But the Diamondbacks get one back, and after 1 inning, they trail the Giants 4-1. The second inning. Hey fans, secure tickets now for opening day at Chase Field. It's Monday, April 4th. First pitch is 6:40 against the Colorado Rockies. It's Zach Greinke's D-backs debut. It's a game you don't want to miss. You can get your tickets right now at dbacks.com. Grant Green leads it off for the Giants, who lead it 4-1 in front of another sellout crowd here in Scottsdale. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly, J.R. Cardenas along the way. Green playing first base, a split squad game for the Giants. Brandon Belt homered earlier today. And a loss to the White Sox. That one is carved foul. Green 282 this spring. He's got a home run. This guy was the 13th pick in the draft by the Oakland A's back in 09. Out of USC, but he's played in just over 100 big league games in his career with the A's and the Angels. Signed with the Giants last November. Just 40 at-bats with Anaheim last year. This is usually the point, Bob, at which Ruby really settles in. If he can just get through that first inning Ruby moment or two, he's usually very tough from that point on.
And that's something that certainly you can work on throughout the rest of the Cactus League and into the regular season. Maybe alter your warm-up routine before a ball game. I know some guys like to get ready to go, then come in and sit in the dugout for 5 or 10 minutes before they go out to take the mound. Other guys like to throw right up until the anthem is played and go straight out to the mound and begin the game. But for whatever reason, Ruby seems to, when he struggles, it seems to be early in the ball game, especially that first inning.
Giants with 4 in the first, and now in the second, he's worked it full to Grant Green. 3-2 pitch on the way. And he got him. Third strikeout for De La Rosa, 1 down. It was the same way for Ruby the last time we saw him here 10 days ago against the Royals. He put up a goose egg in the first, but the first 2 Kansas City hitters, Paulo Orlando and Mike Moustakas, had singles to open up the ball game. And from that point on, Ruby retired 10 straight. So he settled in then a little more quickly than he has so far tonight. Here's the pitcher, Ty Blach.
See Ruby taking a little bit off that fastball. That last one at 89.
And he makes short work of Blach. That's 4 strikeouts, 3 in a row for De La Rosa. 2 down in the second.
And occasionally pacing was an issue for Ruby De La Rosa. Took a little bit too much time between pitches, and Wellington Castillo, along with Mike Harkey last year, the pitching coach, this year Mike Butcher, I'm sure that that's something they've emphasized this spring. Get the ball, get up on the mound, get your sign and go. Don't waste so much time.
Denard Span doubled and scored to lead off the ball game. Well, Ruby certainly did have a breakthrough season last year. His first with the Diamondbacks. Career highs, 14 wins, 32 starts. Just under 189 innings. And with the way this division is shaping up, the Dodgers having all kinds of injury problems. The Giants have some age at the back end of their bullpen, or rotation, pardon me, and injury problems as well. I like Ruby a lot as a number 4 starter. Matt Cain had to have a cyst removed from his arm earlier this spring. He'll start the game here tomorrow afternoon against Robbie Ray. Jake Peavy pitched earlier today against the White Sox, got knocked around a bit.
And you mentioned the Dodgers injury issues. Bad news today for Andre Ethier, huh?
You remember it was the game we did on TV. He fouled a pitch off his leg. Well, turns out he's got a broken leg and will be out 10 to 14 weeks. High fly ball, deep right center. And there it goes. Denard Span, a home run. And that's something that was a big problem for De La Rosa last year. He got it up in that jet stream. And the solo homer makes it 5-1.
was hit well, but to the deepest part of the ballpark out there, just to the right of straightaway center. We talked about the wind earlier in the ball game. Certainly didn't hurt this one at all. Maybe gave it a little bit of a push. Just does clear the fence out there.
Well, the home run ball, one of Ruby's biggest issues last year. He gave up 32 homers in 32 starts. Angel Pagan, Kyle Kendrick, and James Shields, the only pitchers in baseball who allowed more home runs last year than Ruby De La Rosa. There's a strike, 1-1. Ground ball into right center, a base hit for Pagan. That'll bring up Matt Duffy. You mentioned Andre Ethier, Bob. It's a right tibia fracture for the Dodgers left fielder. Suffered in the game here against the Diamondbacks. The initial x-rays were negative, but they went in there and found a break. He is not expected to require surgery, but he'll be out for 10 to 14 weeks.
Right, when we played the Dodgers, we were talking about, once again, the log jam that they seem to have in the outfield. Too many players, not enough positions, and this is why you have organizational depth. Injuries pop up, and the Dodgers feel like they have it covered for the time being.
Carl Crawford was going to be the backup to Ethier in left field. Looks like Crawford will get a whole lot more playing time now. They have Trace Thompson, whom they like a lot as well. Came over from the White Sox this winter. Duffy struck out his first time up. Mike Bolsinger's had some issues as well. He might not be able to go. And Yasmani Grandal, the catcher, has a strained forearm, so they're dropping like flies over there in Dodger camp. Whole lot of injury concerns for the boys in blue. Well, Ruby looked to be settling in, struck out Green and Block to open up this inning. But then the homer by Span, the single by Pagan. And now it's Duffy. Off the mound, they get the force on Pagan. Ruby limping off a bit. We'll check. Bottom two coming up. D-backs trail at 5-1. De La Rosa, that one came, Bob, about as close as you can to hitting Ruby in the foot.
Might have got him on the outside of that right foot as it short hopped on the mound. Fortunately deflected right to Chris Owings, who flipped on to Segura for the easy out at second. But all 5 Giants runs and 4 of their 5 hits have come with 2 outs in the inning. Getting back to the theory about finish what you start.
Yasmani Tomas leads off the second against Ty Blach, who leads at 5-1. Tomas 6 hits in 15 at-bats this spring, including 2 doubles. He missed 2 full weeks of Cactus League games with some left knee soreness. That is now behind him, we're told, and Tomas back 100% good to go. There's a strike, 1-1. Funny thing, when Yasmani Tomas returned after missing 2 weeks with that sore left knee, he swung at the first pitch he saw in each of his first 2 at-bats, both for base hits. But it was a flashback to the Tomas we often saw last year when he was struggling. And he was asked after that game if he wished he had waited and seen more pitches, and he said nope. They were in the strike zone, so he had to swing. He says, I see a good pitch, I'm going to swing.
Sometimes as he's leaving the on-deck circle.
He does not wait around. But last year, top 10 among National League rookies in hits, multi-hit games, batting average, and RBIs. He's down 1-2. In the air, right center field. And Span won't get that one. Tomas takes the turn, and Yasmani Tomas is in there with his 3rd double this spring.
Well, if you're Ruby De La Rosa, you got to stop the bleeding right now, because this Diamondbacks offense is capable of putting up big-time numbers offensively. They lead the majors with their batting average, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, OPS, runs, hits, extra base hits, anything you want to talk about offensively, the Diamondbacks have done it this spring. So Ruby needs to find a way to stop the bleeding, hold the Giants down, let his offense get back into this ballgame.
Jake Lamb. Jake at 286, a homer. He's knocked in 5. And trying to shake off a tough night last night. 3 errors at third base. 2 of them in the same inning. Fights it off the other way and rolls it into left. Matt Williams will stop Tomas. They're on the corners with nobody out.
We've seen more and more of that from Jake Lamb with his new approach this year, keeping that bat in the strike zone a little bit longer, hitting the ball the opposite field with authority. Shoots this one through the left side of the infield. Tomas had to hold up momentarily to let that ball get through. So Matt Williams had to hold him at third base.
You saw that level swing. That's what Jake has worked on so much all winter long in this spring, keeping that bat, we've talked about this, in the hitting zone. With a nice straight, flat, level swing. That was a good example right there. Here's Ruby batting 8th tonight. Drops it down in front of the plate. Blach has one play, and it kicks away. Tomas will stay put at third. That's a sacrifice. The error unblocked the pitcher on the throw. Sacrifice he won. Bases are loaded with nobody out. Tomas is at third, Jake Lamb at second, and Ruby De La Rosa at first. And the batter will be Jason Bourgeois, the center fielder. Bourgeois, 256, a homer, and 7 RBIs. And a chance to get the Diamondbacks right back in it right here. 2-0. Well, George Kottaras looks like he's got his hands full back there with Ty Blach.
You know, when you're catching a left-handed nibbler, you're going to see a lot of breaking balls in the dirt, a lot of change-ups in the dirt.
Bounce to shortstop. Crawford. They get one, and Bourgeois beats it out. Tomas scores, and it's 5-2. Brings up Gene Segura. Segura grounded out his first time up. So 20 hits in 38 at-bats this spring for Segura. 2 homers, he's knocked in 7. Segura has hit safely in 10 of his 11 games this spring. He's also been very active on the bases. He's stolen 4 bags. Right to Tomlinson at second. Crawford for 1. And they roll it. The Diamondbacks had bases loaded, nobody out. They can get only 1 run home, and through 2, they trail the Giants 5-2. In part by Ram Trucks. Right now, get a great deal during Ram Truck Month. Third inning at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. Steve Berthune, Bob Rumley, J.R. Cardenas along the way. Diamondbacks trail the Giants 5-2, and Hunter Pence will lead it off for San Francisco against Ruby De La Rosa. Giants got 4 in the first against Ruby, led by Kelby Tomlinson's 2-run triple. Denard span a solo homer with 2 outs in the second. Diamondbacks 1 in the first and 1 in the second to start to chip away. There's ball 1. Pence an RBI single. He scored a run his first time up. Hunter Pence, 32 years old. He'll be 33 next month. And his first 2 full seasons in San Francisco, he played in every game. But last year, just a little over 50 games, a variety of injuries all season long. And they need him in that lineup. because, as Bruce Bochy says, they are a different club with Hunter Pence in the lineup.
You talk about a guy that's the motor of the team. There's no question Hunter Pence is the guy that makes this Giants team go.
Serious forearm and wrist injuries last year for Pence. Still found a way to drive in 40 runs in 52 games. Right center. And gone. Hunter Pence. He homered yesterday against the Gays at Scottsdale Stadium. And he's homered again here tonight. 6-2 San Francisco.
It's always amazing to me that Hunter Pence can generate the power he does, choked up on the bat as much as he does. But he gets the barrel on it with the wind blowing out that direction. This ball had no chance of staying in the ballpark. Fast line drive homer deep to right center.
Brandon Crawford. Crawford walked and scored his first time up. Rolls this one up the middle. Segura behind the bag has it for the first out in the third. Well, that was a real location mistake there for Ruby. He can't throw a pitch there to Hunter Pence. Kelby Tomlinson now. A 2-run triple in the first. Two balls and one strike. 6 runs on 6 hits for the Giants so far. Including 2 homers, Span and Pence. 2-2. Called strike 3. Ruby rings him up. That's 5 strikeouts for De La Rosa. 2 down in the third. George Gutierrez, the catcher. Two. George Gutierrez's last major league appearance 2014. He played for 3 different teams, in fact, the Indians, the Cardinals, and the Blue Jays. Out of Markham, Ontario. Ruby strikes him out. Back-to-back strikeouts to end the third. He's got 6 in the ball game, but the Giants have 6 runs. Diamondbacks down 4.
if you haven't taken advantage of this yet, you've missed 17 opportunities, because the day after every Diamondbacks win, you can celebrate with 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code DBACS50 at papajohns.com. 17 times already.
Boy, I can see how that has outraged you. That's just a violation of the Brenly Code right there.
I've taken advantage at least a dozen times.
They have won 17 of their 22 Cactus League games, the Diamondbacks, but they trail the Giants 6-2. As Chris Owings leads off the third against Ty Blach. D-backs winners of 5 straight and 13 of their last 14. I mean, that's a lot of pizza you've missed over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll try to make it up this summer.
1-2.
I saw a pizza cheeseburger combination on the internet today.
That's in Atlanta, I believe.
Oh.
It's a Burgeriza, is it called? It looked like basically the end of society as we know it.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's the death knell right there. Somebody figured out they could combine a giant cheeseburger and a pizza.
2 pizzas, actually. One below and one above.
You need a bun, right?
Yeah.
Just use pizzas. Why didn't we think of that sooner?
One of those, and you wouldn't have to eat for a week.
Right to the cardiologist. 3-2 on CO. I like to stick to the basics. Hot dog, popcorn, Cracker Jacks. Another sellout crowd here. Owings, a base hit the other way. CO, a leadoff single. He's 2 for 2.
Good approach that time by CO. First time up, he got a base hit to right field. It was a little more of a floating line drive. That time he waded back and drove that ball to the opposite field.
Paul Goldschmidt singled his first time up. So he's now hit in 7 straight. Out toward Pence in right. He can't get it. Owings had to hold up. So make it Goldie 2 for 2. 2 singles to start the Diamondback third. It's the same type of play on which Hunter Pence was injured last year.
Yeah, I was watching at the end of the play there. He kind of rolls over on that left wrist just ever so slightly, but recovers quickly to get the ball back in and didn't show any signs of aggravating that injury.
So 2 on, no outs for David Peralta. Peralta made great strides when facing left-hand pitching last year. As you may recall, 2 seasons ago, he hit 197 against lefties. But last year, that batting average versus left-hand pitchers improved up to 250. There goes Owings. Kataris can't corral the baseball, and CO is in at third.
Bit of a walking lead there. Blach not paying any attention to him at second base. I think Goldie's a little upset with himself that he didn't read Chris Owings stealing third and steal second base himself.
That's the 6th stolen base this spring for Chris Owings. We saw Gene Segura do the same thing to the left-hander last night against the Brewers. When you're on second against a lefty, you can kind of sneak behind him there and get a big lead, and Owings did exactly that. 1-2 now on David. Foul ball.
You know, talking about David Peralta last year, not only did his numbers improve against left-handed pitching, but the quality of at bat. You could just see it with more and more exposure to left-handed pitching. He got more and more confidence, started to drive the ball more often.
If you take Peralta's final 39 games against lefties last year, the batting average was .305. And he's hanging in here. And they have found their cleanup man to hit behind Goldie. This has worked out very well. 2-2. Roll to second. This will score Owings. And they get Peralta at first, but it's a 6-3 ball game. Double play, no RBI for Peralta. The lead is cut in half. It's Wellington Castillo now with 2 down and nobody on.
A couple of double plays in the last 2 innings have really hurt the Diamondbacks. Looked like in the second inning they were poised to have a big inning, but an inning-ending double play off the bat of Segura snuffed that rally, and now David Peralta with a double play ball of his own.
Yeah, D-backs in the second had bases loaded, no outs. And then 2 singles to start this inning. Castillo flying to center his first time up. Toward Pence, right field corner, and it's off the glove. He donked it. We'll have to fish that out of the corner there. It just went clank.
Long run for Hunter Pence that time. He was in position to make the catch, just hit off the heel of his glove and ricocheted over into foul territory. That ball off the bat of a right-hander slicing away from Pence the entire time, but you could clearly see he got his glove there, just couldn't close it around the ball.
So Castillo at second for Yasmani Tomas. Tomas doubled and scored his first time up. They score that a double for Wellington Castillo, so no error on the play, charge to Pence. It's the Diamondbacks' third hit in this inning. They've actually out-hit the Giants now 7-6, but trail at 6-3.
13 hits, a walk, and 2 errors, and we're only in the bottom of the third inning. Offensive night here at Salt River Field.
High blocked, skies up and snags that one off the bat of Tomas, and they strand Castillo. But the Diamondbacks get one back. We'll head to the fourth. They trail at 6-3. San Francisco against Ruby De La Rosa, and we're very happy to have with us on Fox Sports Arizona Plus tonight. It's old friend Mark Grace, the assistant hitting coach. Gracie, how are you with Steve and Bob?
Oh, hi guys. How are you today? Sorry, my voice sounds like a bit of a Brillo pad.
yelling at guys a lot, apparently.
No. Usually defending myself from being yelled at. How are you guys?
Who's yelling at you? Come on.
Oh man, you name it. Players, coaches, fans. Family members, you name it. That's the way it is.
Take one for the team.
I was going to say, you guys probably know as much as anybody about that.
Well, your offense, Gracie, is leading the major leagues in hits, runs, total bases, extra base hits, you name it. This is, I would think, a good time to be a hitting coach on the Diamondbacks.
Exactly. Somehow, some way, old Mr. Block over there on the other side has found a way to only give up 3 runs this game so far. We feel like we're swinging the bats well again tonight. Just unfortunately, double play ball here and there has gotten them off the hook. But yeah, I don't know what you guys think. You guys have watched a lot of games as well. But this team last year, this team did a great job of swinging the bats. We did a great job of playing defense. And this year we've got some improved arms on the staff, so we're excited about it. You guys like what you see so far? I don't like what I'm just seeing right there. Tell them what just happened, guys.
Well, Grant Green just poked one down the left field line by diving Jake Lamb. It's in the seats. It'll stop at second. Speaking of Jake, let's start there, Gracie, because we've talked a lot about Jake and his new swing, his hand position, trying to get that bat, I guess, more level and straight through the hitting zone. Talk about that process, if you will.
Now, Jake is a very talented man, and he's got power to all fields. I think last year he got hampered by a foot injury that I think really hindered his development, hindered his growth as a major league hitter. I think he's an above-average third baseman defensively, and I think he's ready. It's his time. It needs to happen for him. It needs to happen for him this year. He's a guy that we're going to depend on. He's a left-handed bat that we sorely need, and I just think that he's ready. If he can have a full season of health, I don't think there's anything keeping him from being a terrific player.
Well, they forgot to cover second. As Ruby threw it back there, Segura held up for some reason. It goes into center field, and Green is in there at third.
Well, so far so good.
That's E1 right there.
Ruby's had a bit of a tough go tonight, hasn't he?
I'll tell you, we're watching on the monitors up here, Gracie. His stuff looks as good as ever. His fastball's in the mid to upper 90s with a lot of late sinking action. He's thrown some good sliders, a couple of good change-ups, but it just seems like he has all kinds of trouble in the early part of the ball game finding that strike zone consistently, and when he does, it's usually elevated and they hit him hard early in the game.
Yeah, I think a lot of times, and not just Ruby, but a lot of pitchers will go and obviously, Bob, you were a catcher, you saw it firsthand as well as a manager, but I think a lot of times, especially younger pitchers, they can go through a 10 or 15 pitch sequence where they just kind of forget what they're out there to do. They lose focus, lose concentration, whatever it is, and it usually takes something messed up to happen out there, like a 3-run double or something like that to lock you back in. I think Ruby may have fell victim maybe this evening on that. He just kind of forgot what he was out there to do, and heck. Here we are in the fourth inning, and they've put up 6. But I'll tell you what, he has had a great spring. He's been very good this spring, and we're excited to have him on the back end of the rotation.
Gracie, talking about that wavering focus from time to time for De La Rosa, and one of the newest Diamondbacks, Zach Greinke, that's one of his strengths.
Absolutely.
The way he focuses on every pitch and what it leads to on the next pitch. Do you think Ruby and some of the other younger pitchers might learn from Zach this year?
Well, you hope so. You hope that they watch him throw his bullpens. And his bullpens are impressive, Bob. He'll wherever Tuffy or Wellington or whoever it is that's catching that bullpen, wherever he sits, it just seems like Zach hits that glove every single time. And I remember he came off the mound after a 25 pitch bullpen session, and he kind of shook his head and gave a 24 out of 25. It's like he was, he's such a perfectionist, and he's so locked in even to his bullpen sessions that he was really disappointed he missed his spot that one solo time.
Looks like Zach Godley's getting a lesson in Professor Greinke's art of pitching over there in the dugout.
Well, I'll tell you what, that should be a very interesting conversation between those two over there. Man, I'd love to be a fly on the wall over there. Holy smokes.
1-2 on Denard Span with Grant Green at third. Talking to assistant hitting coach Mark Grace. Gracie, which of your hitters do you think has progressed the most? Because as we know, this is a very young team, the youngest team in the major leagues. Who's made the most progress among this group of young guys you have?
Golly, it's because you talked about the way we've been swinging it. They've all been swinging it so good. Brandon Drury has been impressive. Who do you guys think? Who's impressed you? I really like the way Nick Ahmed has swung the bat. All those guys fighting for jobs on the middle infield, they're all just hammering the baseball. It's making Chip and the decision makers for the Arizona Diamondbacks, it's making it tough. There's only 12 days left before opening day, and some very good players probably aren't going to be with us. When the bell rings, and that's the tough part of baseball, isn't it, guys?
Well, what are those conversations like with the coaching staff? Because every day, and I'm glad I don't have to make these decisions, but what are those conversations like, Gracie? What's the process?
Man, it's you basically go around the room and if somebody has some 2 cents that they want to add, different sets of eyes see different types of talent, and we've got some very talented eyes, from Tony La Russa to Bob Gebhardt to, obviously Dave Stewart, Deshaun Watson. I'm probably forgetting very important people, but, there's a lot of very talented eyeballs that are on these guys. And the thing is, Dave Magnan and I, we talk about what we see on the offensive side of the game plan. We don't really take the defense or the base running like Dave McKay or Matt Williams or somebody like that. But it's it's a thing that we've got a lot of very good players, and unfortunately not enough spots.
Well, Gracie, you did a great job of stranding that run at third. Nice.
Thanks,
done.
Steve. Thanks. It's all me. You guys have a great night. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks so much. Arizona is presented in part by Ram Trucks. Right now, get a great deal during Ram Truck Month. Salt River Fields at Talking Stick in Scottsdale, Arizona, where the Diamondbacks trail the Giants 6-3. Home half of the fourth now. And Jake Lamb leads it off against the lefty Ty Block. Jake singled his first time up tonight. Right back up the box and off the bag. It caroms off the second base. And Jake Lamb is 2 for 2.
Boy, 2 great approaches in his 2 at-bats so far in the ball game. Drove it to the opposite side. His first time up, this time right back up the middle of the field. Actually hits the bag at second before going out into shallow center field for that leadoff single.
He hit it up the middle and hit just about everything in the middle. The mound, the rubber, the bag, almost the pitcher. And Gracie's got to like that, those left-hand hitters. Pitcher batting eighth again tonight. Ruby gets the bunt down. Block threw it away the last time this happened. It was E1, but this time he completes the out. They move Lamb along. 1-3 on the sacrifice. Has Lamb at second. One down for Jason Bourgeois.
Jason Bourgeois.
Jason Bourgeois, parts of 8 seasons in the big leagues, came up with the White Sox. He has played for Milwaukee, Houston, Kansas City, Tampa Bay, the last 2 years in Cincinnati. Signed with the Diamondbacks in December. Right to Duffy at third. Looks Lamb back to the bag. 2 down. Well, something's wrong because Gene Segura is 0 for 2.
What in the world is going on?
He came into the ballgame with 20 hits and 37 at-bats, including 2 homers. But tonight he has twice grounded out, once into a double play. Diamondbacks have had the leadoff man on base with a base hit in each of the first 3 innings. That one's off the glove of Crawford. It rolls into shallow center, and Lamb will score to make it 6-4.
That's more like it.
Gene Segura had it again. A base hit, the RBI, is 8th this spring.
I was going to say it after the leadoff single by Jake Lamb, but then 2 quick outs, I decided to stick it in my back pocket. But this is one of those momentum innings. You know, Ruby De La Rosa had given up 4 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, and after the leadoff double and the error, had a runner at third base with nobody out, but managed to get out of the jam, put a 0 on the board, and now the Diamondbacks offense just continues to swing those bats, and they score a run of their own here to pull within 2.
Chris Owings, 2 for 2. He has singled twice, scored twice, stolen a base.
Both the CO's base hits have come to right field. And he's got a big hole in that right side of the infield now, with Segura leading off and Green holding him over there. I think it's more a byproduct of where Block has been pitching Chris Owings. First base hit was a little bit of an inside out swing, pitch inner third of the plate, but the last at bat was a line drive single to right field on a pitch out away from it.
Tyler Mazenko, the right-hander, warming up at the Giant bullpen. It's a fly ball to Pagan in left. And that ends the inning, but the Diamondbacks keep chipping away. They get one more, and through 4, they trail at 6-4. Fans, tonight on Cactus League Weekly, we'll hear from new bullpen coach Garvin Alston and see Tyler Clippard surprise for his mom with a meet and greet. Legendary IndyCar driver Mario Andretti. Plus a whole lot more. Don't miss Cactus League Weekly. It's presented by Chaz Roberts tonight, 10:30 on Fox Sports Arizona. As Matt Duffy leads off the Giant fifth. Some changes defensively behind Ruby De La Rosa. Brandon Drury has taken over at third base for Jake Lamb. Chris Owings moves from second over to short, replacing Gene Segura. And Phil Goslin takes over at second base. 0-2 on Duffy, who has struck out and hit into a fielder's choice. Duffy, Pence, Crawford due up 3, 4, and 5 in the Giant fifth. Ruby at 73 pitches. Diamondback bullpen is quiet. Matt Duffy led all major league rookies last year in base hits. Remember last year he played sporadically over the first month of the year. Giants had at first brought in Casey McGee to replace Pablo Sandoval at third. Then they had to bench McGee. He just did not hit. Eventually he was sent to the minor leagues and finally let go. Duffy became the everyday third baseman, a position he had almost never played about the first week of May, and from that point on he hit over 300. He had played only 3 games at third base in the minor leagues. They went to him and said, guess what? You're the third baseman. Okay. He'd come up as a shortstop. Called strike 3. Ruby rings him up. That's his 7th strikeout.
Being a third baseman in the big leagues is a lot better than being a shortstop in AAA. So
you said it.
I think he made the right choice.
Hunter Pence up to his usual tricks, a single and a homer. Still no one throwing in the Diamondback bullpen. There's a strike, 0-1. This was Pence to lead off the third. Right down the middle. He didn't miss it.
Don't make too many mistakes in the middle of the plate to this guy.
You know, on TV he looks kind of wiry, but when you meet Hunter Pence and talk to him in person and watch him take batting practice, he is a wall of muscle.
Yes, he is. Everything but the calves.
That's true. It's just muscle after muscle, and he's like one of these tennis players when he takes batting practice. Every time they hit the ball, you hear them grunting. That's the way he takes BP. Waves at that one. 8 strikeouts for De La Rosa. 2 down.
Well, this is where you'd really like to see Ruby just step on their neck right here. I talked about the momentum inning in the last half inning for the Diamondbacks. After shutting out the Giants in the top half of the inning, they put another run on the board to creep closer. Now, if Ruby can put a 0 on the board in this inning, get his team back up to the plate swinging those bats, see what happens.
He's retired 5 straight since that Green double to lead off the 4th. Crawford has walked and scored a run and grounded out. He'll ground out twice here. Goslin has it. And Ruby works a 1-2-3 5th. He'll go to the home half. Diamondbacks trail at 6-4.
Fans, customize your own ticket package with a D-backs mini plan. You can choose from opening day, you can choose big series against the Cubs, maybe the Yankees, you can pick bobblehead games, you can come up with any combination you like. And you'll save over single game prices with a 6 or 10 game mini plan. Get yours right now at dbacks.com. Bottom 5 here. And the new pitcher, it's the Stratton story. It's Chris Stratton, the right-hander.
These minor league numbers from last season, 5-10 record, ERA just under 4.
Well, he's got a rude welcome here as Goldie leads off the 5th. He has singled twice. One and one. And hold up. A ball and 2 strikes. Chris Stratton, a first-round pick by the Giants in the draft 4 years ago out of Mississippi State. He's from Stark Vegas. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He's out of Tupelo, Mississippi. Pitched at Tupelo High. Spent most of the year last year in the Coast League at AAA. Breaking news, Bob. It's a full count to Goldie.
What a shock.
His second of the ball game.
Good emergency swing there by Goldie. A hanging slider on the 3-2 pitch at 81 miles per hour. Looked like he was going to take it, thinking it was up out of the zone, but at the last instant, just flicked that bat out there, fouled it away to stay alive.
Nice backhand stab there by Green. They retire Goldie. Let's go downstairs now and talk to some Diamondbacks. It's our friend J.R. Cardenas down there. J.R., how you doing?
Hey, guys. Like we say in our culture, buenas noches, good evening. We're hanging out with a shortstop tonight, number 2. One of the most energetic players that we see out on the diamond tonight, Mr. Jean Segura. How are you today?
I'm very good, man. How are you?
I asked him earlier if he wanted me to do the interview in English or in Spanish. He wants to practice his English, so we're going to go English today. Man, where do you get this energy to play and have so much fun playing the game?
I mean, it's fun, you know. When you come to a new team, and it's new for me. I mean, I just wanna be those guys to be energy in the dugout, in the clubhouse, especially on the baseball field. And to me, I feel great to do that.
Where does the work ethic come from? I mean, since when have you been working so hard to get to this level?
I mean, I've been working so hard on my career. You know, I think every year it's a level. You know, as a player, you always come to the season to have some goals. And for me, you know, I want to put those goals and myself, you know, to be that kind of players that everybody like out there.
Let's talk about goals. You're talking about reaching some goals. What are your goals for this season playing with the Arizona Diamondbacks?
I mean, my goal is to help this team to win on every baseball game so we can. And, you know, as a players, you're always trying to help that team to go to the playoff and go to the World Series and win it all. I mean, I think there's every goal to every team in the Major League.
Gene, yesterday you played your former team, and we saw you out there pulling shirts, throwing dirt, tapping with the bat the catcher. I mean, do you miss your former teammates? How did you get along with them?
No, I just have a really good communication with Maldonado, and we're still talking. You know, this is my old teammate, and we always, you know, joking around. And yesterday I tried to do that little bit of joke before the game start to get momentum, and you know that's what it is, man. This is spring training, and I think when you have fun with the game, you're gonna get success.
With your teammates here in Arizona, I mean, I see you dancing here in the dugout. You know, obviously your traditional baseball, the claps, the dancing, the yelling. I mean, where do you get this energy? Caffeine, vitamins, adrenaline?
I know that's normal. You know, I'm 26, so if you don't got enough energy around 20, you're not gonna get it when you're 30. So I need to got that energy now because you know when you get long time playing this game, you know your body is gonna feel the same. So my body feel right now pretty good. The guys over there, they're really good guys, good teammates, and you know I just want to have fun.
You're a big inspiration, obviously, coming from your native country. What do you have to say to those young kids that look up to you, that see you, that want to have fun the same way you want to play the game with so much passion?
Yeah, just play the game hard, no matter what. I mean, I think the discipline is more important in all the sport. So when you got discipline and you playing the sport hard, I think this is the best mentality to the young guys.
You're starting the season strong. You feel like you got a full tank ready to go?
Yeah, I feel ready to go. I mean, I just come here, you know, to help this team. I worked so hard in the whole season, and I come here. I'm a new guy, and I feel like it was home for me because when I came here, I can feel it in my body. I can feel in my mind, wow, this thing is going to be good for me.
You ever felt like you got something to prove?
To be honest, nah. I think I already proved what I can do in the big league. You know, I know my last 2 years I've been, you know, that pretty good because I have some family use it. But, you know, I think it's our way now, and I lost my son 2 years ago, so this feel worse, but at the same time, life continuing. I need to go do my job out there.
Thank you very much. We're going to let you get back into the dugout, and we're going to send it back to you guys upstairs. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Thank you.
J.R. Cardenas and Gene Segura. Good to have Gene with us here in Arizona.
Always good to have those high-energy guys.
Hard to have a better spring. A 2-out walk to Castillo. 2-2 on Yasmani Tomas. And now the count is full.
Anybody that's ever managed or coached at the major league level will tell you the same thing. You need to have a couple of guys that are pushers. Every day. It's a long season, the travel, the day games after night games, and you need somebody that shows up to that clubhouse every day with a smile on their face, glad to be there, push their teammates, try to get the best out of everybody in that room.
Right back to the mound. Stratton has it, and they retire Tomas. He works around the 2-out walk. We'll go to the 6th. Diamondbacks trail the Giants 6-4. Giants 6-4. It's our Chaz Roberts cool play of the game. Ruby De La Rosa so far 8 strikeouts, and he's back out there to start the 6th.
Unfortunately got off to the rocky start, but really has settled in the last couple of innings. Gave up that leadoff double, an error on him trying to pick the guy off second base, but then stranded him at third. It came back in that 5th inning with 2 strikeouts and an easy tapper to second base. Has really settled in here in the middle innings.
Joaquin Arias has replaced Paul Goldschmidt at first as Kelby Tomlinson leads it off for the Giants. Tomlinson had a 2-run triple, part of a 4-run San Francisco first. Looks like Jake Barrett is warming up down in the Diamondback bullpen with De La Rosa creeping up on 90 pitches. Fights this off, smothered by Goslin at second. And a bad throw pulls Arias off the bag. Phil made a nice spinning stab there to snare that one, but Tomlinson's aboard.
Half of a nice play. Phil ranges far to his left here, goes down to a knee to smother that ball in shallow right field. Unfortunately, his throw just pulls Arias to the outfield side of the bag. He can't make the adjustment quickly enough.
And it's an error on Phil Goslin. George Kottaras has struck out twice. That snaps a stretch of 5 in a row retired by De La Rosa. Actually make it 6. A little sloppy Diamondbacks last couple of nights. Jake Lamb had 3 errors last night. Diamondbacks have committed 3 tonight. One on Owings, one on the pitcher De La Rosa, now one on Goslin at second.
Paying a lot of attention to Tomlinson over there at first base. This is a guy that stole 49 bags in Double-A a couple of years ago. 36 steal season 2 years before that. Taking a pretty big lead over there at first.
Arias holding him on the bag. Little lollipop throw over there from Ruby. Might be starting to hit the wall. Wellington Castillo doesn't like what he sees.
You see 86 pitches on the game for Ruby. 26 of those came in the first inning.
Hello. There's Jake Barrett, the ASU Sun Devil. He's looked really good this spring, hitting for a bullpen job. One thing that Chip Hale likes to do, Bob, and we've seen it a lot lately, is give the starting pitcher one more what he calls up-down. That's, you're starting in a game, the regular season, you're up, you're down, you're up, you're down, in the dugout, back out there. So as important as the pitch count is, we've seen Chip do this a lot lately. Have the starting pitcher go back out there, start one more inning, get him one more up-down, and then pull him out in the middle of that inning. And it looks like he might be getting ready to do that tonight. He's the first guy I really remember using that term a lot. We're all focused on pitch counts and everything, but it's one more thing to evaluate, one more thing to sort of get the guy used to doing. Two balls and a strike. Tomlinson holds it first. That one misses. It's 3-1. Grant Green on deck. Pitch number 90 on the way. Tomlinson takes off. Kottaras just does get a piece of that one. Three and two. There goes the runner. There's the strikeout, and there's the throw out. Wellington Castillo throws out Tomlinson as Gutierrez punches out, and 2 down. And here comes Chip. He's going to make the move right here, it looks like.
Boy, nice job by Wellington Castillo, not only to unload that ball quickly to second base, but that pitch was a changeup. A lot of catchers won't call an off-speed pitch if they know that runner at first base is going to be trying to steal, but Wellington had enough confidence in his ability to get that ball to second base quickly. He called the changeup and got the strikeout.
It's a double switch from Chip Hale. Yasmani Tomas replaced by Peter O'Brien. De La Rosa leads with 9 strikeouts. Jake Barrett when we come back.
To 4, Jake Barrett taking over on the mound. Hey, we're giving you a belly full of baseball this week. On Friday, the D-backs host Cleveland as they take on the Tribe. Coverage begins at 1 o'clock on Fox Sports Arizona.
A double switch in the 6th inning. Peter O'Brien is in left field now, replacing Yasmani Tomas. The numbers tonight on Ruby De La Rosa. And the new pitcher, the ASU Sun Devil, it's Jake Barrett, who's had a really, really good spring. He has worked 6 innings, given up just 1 run on 4 hits. He has not walked a batter. He's got 9 strikeouts.
Solid numbers for Jake Barrett so far this spring.
Out of Desert Ridge High School in Mesa, the ASU Sun Devil. There's Peter O'Brien in left. Peter will bat 8th now. Pitcher spot 6th in the Diamondback order. And here's Grant Green, the first baseman. He doubled his last time up, 1 for 2. Jake Barrett, 15 saves last year between Mobile and Reno. 51 strikeouts in 53 innings. And he really powers that ball in there. He throws a lot like Silvino Bracho does.
An explosive delivery.
There you go. Once again, you have crystallized my thoughts perfectly.
I tried.
It's a big dude out there, 6'3", 220. Ooh. Jake Barrett comes in and strikes out Green. Bottom 6 all the way. Diamondbacks down 2.
El tanque Tomás Yasmani. Buenas noches, ¿cómo estás? How are you tonight?
No, buenas noches, un placer estar contigo aquí.
Good night, it's very nice to be here today. Hoy jugó Tampa contra tu natal Cuba. Today Tampa played against Cuba, your national team. How do you feel about it? ¿Cómo te sientes de eso?
Bueno, me siento muy contento, ¿no? Al ver que se abrió una puerta ya para el béisbol de Cuba, que fue un equipo de grandes ligas, que desde el 99 no pasaba eso. Y bueno, ¿qué te voy a decir? Mucha alegría, había compañeros que fueron parte de mi vida, ¿no? Y del béisbol en Cuba y me sentí muy contento.
I feel very happy. We had a team out there in 1999. It hasn't happened since. It's great to see some of the people that I grew up playing baseball with, to see them play. And I'm very happy that was a great opportunity for some of my former teammates. Ahora está tu familia aquí, ya tienes una casa aquí en esta ciudad. ¿Cómo ha cambiado tu vida que tu familia está aquí? Now that you have a home here, how has your family influenced you and changed you with your daily routine?
Bueno, sí, ¿no? Cuando llegué aquí a Estados Unidos me reencontré con mi esposa, ¿no? Sí, compré una casa aquí en Arizona, como había que trabajar aquí en este estado, ¿no? Luego vino la niña mía más pequeña. Nada, pienso que día a día es dedicarle mucho trabajo aquí al terreno, ¿no? Pienso que el terreno va a decir las últimas palabras y ya cuando estoy en la casa es ayudando a mi esposa ahí en lo que pueda con la niña y eso y compartiendo con la familia.
It's great to be here. It was great to buy a house since I started working here in Arizona. My second child, my younger daughter was born. I get to help my wife around the house and I like to be here and play hard on the field. Yasmani, you've lost a lot of weight. How are you feeling now with the weight loss? ¿Has perdido mucho peso? ¿Cómo te sientes ahora que has perdido el peso? ¿Te sientes más ligero?
Sí, bueno, no, eso fue una meta que me tracé, ¿no? Al terminar la temporada pasada. Estuve trabajando con el trainer Ney, que vivía cerca de la casa ahí. Mucha agilidad, mucho ejercicio de cardio y sí, me siento mucho mejor en forma. Perdí alrededor de 10 o 12 libras. Pienso que me siento bastante fuerte, ¿no? Y que me siento muy atléticamente, me siento bien y pienso que estamos aquí, ¿no? Trabajando fuerte para la temporada que se avecina pronto.
Yeah, it was great. It was one of my goals was to lose weight. I've lost 10 to 12 pounds and I feel agile. It was one of the goals. I've been training a lot with one of the trainers here with the team. And I feel strong. I feel ready. Let's talk about the season. What are your goals for this season here, coming in for your second year with the Arizona Diamondbacks? Vamos a platicar sobre la temporada y siendo tu segundo año ya con los Arizona Diamondbacks. ¿Cuáles son las metas que tú tienes para ti en el equipo?
Bueno, no, las metas que tengo, ¿no? Es estar cada día en los 9 regulares. Pienso que jugar lo máximo de partido, ¿no? Ayudar en el equipo en todo lo que pueda, ¿no? Trabajar fuerte también cada día. Pienso que esta temporada va a ser mucho mejor que la pasada. Ya conozco la liga, sé cómo es el ambiente y me siento muy cómodo este año.
Well, one of the goals is to play on a regular basis. Obviously, this is my second year. I know the league. I know how to play. I've been feeling a lot better, and I think this year is to go full force. A un nivel personal, ¿tú te sientes fuerte con el poder necesario para hacer un impacto más grande que lo que hiciste el año pasado? At a personal level, do you feel like you have the power to create a bigger impact than you did last year?
Sí, me siento muy cómodo en la forma física, tanto a la defensiva como a la ofensiva. Sí, pienso que hemos hecho un gran trabajo en ambas partes y sí, me siento con mucho poder este año para dar un mejor impacto que la temporada pasada.
I feel very comfortable in my position. I plan to do better both on the offensive end and the defensive end. And yes, I do feel a lot better than I did last year. A un nivel personal, personal question, why el tanque? ¿Por qué te llamaste el tanque?
Bueno, en Cuba, ¿no? Habían unos animados que eran rusos y había un tanque de guerra que se llamaba así Tomás y un comentarista en Cuba de la radio me puso ese apodo y ya después aquí en Estados Unidos y la gente me preguntó, ¿no? Y yo le dije que el tanque y me siento bien con ese apodo.
There was a Russian tank that he named himself after, also a commentator, and that's why he named himself that when he got here to the United States. Yasmani, muchas gracias. Thank you very much. We're going to go to a commercial break. We'll be back.
Hey fans, plan ahead. Get the full 2016 collection of D-backs bobbleheads. And the first in the series is the A.J. Pollock bobblehead. It's courtesy of Arizona Sports 98.7 FM. The second is Goldie July 2nd, Zach Greinke bobblehead August 6th, and David Peralta on September 17th. Collect all the bobbleheads this year. And get your tickets at dbacks.com. Socrates Brito replaces Jason Bourgeois in center. As the new shortstop, Orlando Moreno. Let me start that again. Rando Moreno leads it off.
You're on your own.
I can handle El Tanque. That's about as much as I can do. Get JR up here to help me out. He did a great job translating that interview with Yasmani Tomas. Really good to have JR with us this year. 0-2. Rando Moreno strikes out. Jake Barrett has faced two batters, struck them both out so far.
We're talking about the difference night and day for Ruby De La Rosa today. First 2 innings, he gave up 5 runs on 5 hits through 44 pitches to get through the first 2 innings. Innings 3 through 6, he gave up 1 run on 2 hits and only threw 47 pitches in those 4 innings.
Denard Span, a double, a homer, he scored twice. Ruby always does find a way to settle in. It's never one of these deals, almost never, where he's gone in the 3rd inning or something like that. Even if he has a rough 1st or 2nd, he finds a way to right the ship, finish with 9 strikeouts. Span got him in the 2nd for a home run. Jake Barrett making a real bid to make this ball club at the age of 24. He has been very impressive this spring. 15 saves in the minors last year. Spent a good portion of last season closing games for Phil Nevett at AAA Reno. 11 saves in 22 appearances for the Aces. Jake worked primarily as a setup man for Robbie Hammock while he was with Mobile last year in Double-A. He did not go. 2-2 on Span.
That's right where Wellington Castillo wanted that slider on the 1-2 pitch. Didn't want to throw it and catch too much of the strike zone. Wanted to bounce it out there in front of home plate and hopefully get a swing and a miss from Span. Sometimes commanding the ball as a pitcher means throwing it out of the strike zone. Throw it in the dirt from time to time if you're ahead in the count. Elevate that fastball up above the top of the strike zone when you're ahead in the count.
Well, Jake has shown that he throws hard and can command 3 pitches, a plus fastball, a very good slider. And the changeup for the most part is pretty effective. He's one of these guys that gets out there on the mound and attacks. He's got a closer's mentality. To pitch to contact early in the count, but he's running full here to Span. 3-2. Phil Gosselin at second base. 2 up, 2 down. Barrett's retired all 3 he's faced. It's the question that Chip Hale and his coaching staff are facing this spring. Do you get a second lefty back there to go with Andrew Chafin? Or do you take your pick from 1 or 2 or all these hard right-hand throwers they have? The Brachos, the Burgos, the Barretts. They have a lot of choices.
And Chip has said repeatedly he's going to take the best pitcher, whoever can get anybody out, whether it be a righty or a lefty. I think the only time you really need that second lefty is if he's a specialist. If he's a Mike Myers type, a sidearm, drop down, roundhouse curveball guy that really neutralizes the tough left-handed hitters in the other lineup.
Like a Randy Choate type, or one of those guys who's just death on lefties, a loogie. The lefty one-out guy, right?
But, you know, lacking a guy like that, you'd much rather have a right-handed pitcher that has multiple pitches, can throw strikes, can get righties or lefties out.
Angel Pagan singled in the 2nd. He's 1 for 3.
The happiest guy in the world when the Diamondbacks acquired Mike Myers from the Colorado Rockies was Luis Gonzalez.
Didn't have to face him anymore. Gonzo, by the way, has been put to work tonight. He's doing the webcast along with Mike Farron, just to our right here on
Radio Row. He said he was going to bring in some heavy hitters. Randy Johnson was going to stop by their booth. He big-timed us. Wisconsin. And, he's got Randy right now. You can listen to that broadcast at dbacks.com on the web. Along with a moral compass, Mike Ferrin. It's a 4-pitch walk to Pagan. Brings up Matt Duffy, who's 0 for 3. Talked about the weight loss for Yasmani Tomas. Jake Barrett has, in the past, had to work hard to lose weight. It wasn't too long ago. He was pitching at 240, 245, but last year he got down to 220, and he's been able to maintain that. That's made a difference for him. Pagan takes off. The pitch is a strike. The throw is not in time, and Angel Pagan has a stolen base.
Angel Pagan doesn't have the speed that he once possessed, but he's a smart base runner. He knows he's got a young pitcher out there on the mound. He just issued a 4-pitch walk. He's really focused on jumping ahead of Duffy, the next batter, so he just took off on first movement that time.
Roll to Owings at shortstop. And another good outing for Jake Barrett. He works around the 2-out walk. We stretch in Scottsdale at 6-4, San Francisco. Live high-speed highlights presented by Cox. Giants have had a couple of long balls in this ball game. Denard Span a home run in the second off Ruby De La Rosa. Hunter Pence went off the third. But then Ruby settled in. He finished the night with 9 strikeouts. And he worked 5 2/3. Gene Segura trying to get the Diamondbacks back in it. And they have chipped away here and there. They trail at 6-4 now. They've out-hit the Giants 9-7. And so here we are, home half of the 7th, and Phil Gosselin leads it off. Defensive changes behind for San Francisco. Here's one of their top prospects. Christian Arroyo is now at third base. Slater in left and Gorkys Hernandez in center. As you just saw, Gosselin 375 this spring. He's homered twice, knocked in 6. Another reason why the Diamondbacks have so many hard decisions to make over the final 2 weeks. Up the middle. Moreno, the shortstop, throws him out. 1 down.
Good news in a minor league game earlier today. How about this? You show up to play against Visalia, a Class A team in the California League, and you get to face Randall Delgado, Andrew Chafin, and Evan Marshall.
Hang with them.
Woo!
These guys got to get their innings in.
Yeah, I talked to Evan Marshall a little bit earlier today. He pitched 2 innings, struck out 5, said he felt great. Everything was working great. Randall Delgado, another solid outing for him, and Andrew Chafin as well.
It gets down to that conversation that we were just talking about as Silvino Bracho starts warming up. Which one of these guys, or maybe 2 or 3 of them, do you take with you?
And knowing that at some point in the season, you're probably going to need all of them.
Yep. Burgos has started with a split finger fastball now that apparently was off the charts good the other night up in Peoria against the Mariners. And Evan Marshall has looked as good as he did 2 years ago when he was so outstanding as a rookie for the Diamondbacks. Bracho's pitched well. Barrett, some hard decisions ahead. CO 2 for 3, a pair of singles. That one's in the seats. He's also scored twice and stolen a base. Second base for Kelby Tomlinson. 2 up, 2 down. Here's the former Giant, Joaquin Arias, who took over for Goldie.
That's a nice round of applause from the Giants fans here in attendance tonight.
Arias 7 hits this spring, all singles. Tell you what, young Chris Stratton has looked very impressive. He's walked 1. He struck out the side in order in the 6th. And he's got the first 2 on ground ball outs here in the 7th. Let's see why he was so highly regarded. First round pick out of Mississippi State 4 years ago. The 20th overall selection in that first round. 6'3", 190. He's 25 years old. He worked only as a starter last year in the minor league. 17 starts at AAA Sacramento, 9 starts at AA Richmond. Along the right field line and in the bullpen. So if the Giants do have some injuries, if King has a problem, if Peavy's back goes out or something, when those guys are getting up there in age, you anticipate they're going to need some help over the course of the year. You'll remember, Chris Stratton, we saw that guy in spring training. He might get a chance this year. The same thing happened last year with young Chris Heston.
Yeah.
Arias reaches down and knocks that into the seats as well.
It's very rare that a major league team gets through the entire season with their starting rotation intact and everybody in the bullpen does exactly what you expect them to do and they stay healthy until the final game of the regular season. It just doesn't happen.
How might Bruce Bochy put that?
Well, I know we're going to need more than 12.
A little looper. And Slater can't make the catch. Arias aboard. That's ruled a single.
In and out of the glove as he made contact with the grass out there in left field. Nice effort by Slater, but that'll go as a base hit for Joaquin Arias.
That's Austin Slater out there. So one more at bat for David Peralta, who so far tonight is 0 for 3. Time to get the freight train going here this spring. He's under 200.
I forgot to bring my whistle.
Props. It's all about the props.
Got to remember that Friday.
Swing and a miss, 1-2. David has really taken off with this whole freight train thing. You'll note the bottom of his bat handle right there has the freight train logo on it. He's got it on t-shirts. There it is on the bottom there. A little smudged.
A little dirty, but freight train.
Check swing roller. Arroyo at third on the short hop. And a nice scoop by Grant Green at first. 8th inning coming up. Diamondbacks trail at 6-4.
Partner, it's not too late to become a D-back season ticket holder for the 2016 season. You get tickets for the full season, choose from half, a series, or even a weekend plan. Season ticket holders enjoy the lowest price per ticket and get access to exclusive events and experiences. Become a season ticket holder now by visiting dbacks.com.
Another big crowd here. And a pitching change, one of several changes, in fact, for the Diamondbacks. Back-to-back nights for the Bulldog right-hander, given up for Silvino Bracho.
Yeah, it's the next step in the process for the relief pitchers. On a regular throwing program, eventually as you sneak up on the end of the Cactus League, you want guys to be able to go back-to-back days.
Well, we got a whole bunch of changes here defensively. Looks like Brett Hayes is behind the plate. And Sean Jamison has taken over at shortstop. Pence, who singled in the first and homered in the third, leads off the 8th. He's 2 for 3. Bracho worked the 9th inning last night. 1-2-3. Ground ball, strikeout, fly ball. And then the Diamondbacks against the Brewers won it in the home half of the 9th on Nick Ahmed's 2-out walk-off single. Hunter Pence slams one to left and gone. His second home run tonight. And that's 3 in 2 games. He's got 5 this spring.
Pence has that ability to alter his swing in mid-swing. That time he got a breaking ball that kind of hung up over the heart of the plate. That high leg kick, and then once again a line drive variety home run, this time to left field.
He's got 5 home runs in 23 at-bats this spring.
Wrap him in bubble wrap and send him up to San Francisco right now.
Bracho will try and shake that one off.
Stratton hit him for himself here in the 8th inning. Stretch him out a little bit tonight as well. Nobody throwing in the Giants bullpen.
Two and two. And another change for you. Chad Oberacker is taking over for David Peralta in right field. So some of the minor league guys getting a chance to play here today. There he is. Three and two on the pitcher, Stratton. Bring him up and sit him down. Strike out for Bracho, one down. Boy, another great crowd here. And this was a busy day for the staff here at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. 12,713 in here tonight. And that is another sellout for the Diamondbacks, who have now had 8 sellouts this spring, including the last 7 games here. But the Brewers and Rockies had a game here this afternoon. They had 9,000 in for that one. So this field has seen 2 games today, and we need to give a big shout out to Dave Dunn, Marshall Jennings, and the whole staff here, who done an amazing job with this remarkable facility. A long day at the ballpark for Dave and his whole staff, and this place looks spectacular. So in one spring training game, or I should say one spring training day, 2 games, we've had more than 21,000 people in here. And our somewhat reliable staff, look this up, BB, you'll like this. The 1974 Oakland A's. And you'll recall that the Swingin' A's, they won 3 straight World Series, that 3rd in a row coming in '74. During that season, they averaged 10,441 fans per game. So we have had more fans in this spring training ballpark today than the A's averaged while winning their 3rd straight World Series. So attention, football people, baseball is not dying. Our man in the booth came up with that one. That's some of his best work.
Very nice.
There's an A's fan right on cue. Boy, how'd you sync that up? Guy wearing an A's hat. That's what happens when you eat the brisket around here, I guess. You get more energy. Along the right field line, Arias can't quite get it. But we have not had a ton of rain here at all this spring, and the sun's beaten down on that grass berm out there, and this field gets used every day, sometimes twice in a day. And Dave and Marshall and the whole staff here, they do amazing work.
Yeah, you would never know all the activity that goes on, not only here at the stadium, but at the practice fields. I mean, every day we walk in here, it just looks pristine, like it hasn't been touched since last spring training. And we know that's not the case.
One more time on 1 and 2. This is chopped. Drury charges from third. Brandon Drury, the bare hand play. The throw pulls Arias off the bag. And Tomlinson runs Reynolds aboard.
Nice effort there by Brandon Drury. Throw is just a little bit offline. Always a tough play to field that ball barehanded, spin it in your hand to try to find some seams to make an accurate throw and do it all in one motion like Drury just did. Nice play. They just didn't get him at first.
George Kottaras, the catcher, 0 for 3. He has struck out 3 times. Mentioned earlier, the Giants are short-handed right now on backup catchers. Andrew Susac has a bone bruise. That right wrist that he had operated on over the winter is inflamed. Trevor Brown got whacked on the left forearm by a long swing in their game yesterday against the A's. So they're without Brown and Susac behind the plate to back up Posey. So Kottaras is in there. They have the veteran Miguel Olivo working for them as well. They may call you.
No, they're not in that much trouble. Well, and the backup catcher's job for the Giants is really very important because, as we have seen the last couple of years, Bruce Bochy, rather than give Buster Posey a complete day off, sends him down to first base, especially against tough left-handers, sits Brandon Belt, puts Posey in at first, and the backup catcher gets a lot of playing time.
You like Susac a lot. He was a second-round pick, and Trevor Brown has looked very good this spring. But now they are both hurt. 2-0 on Kottaras. Running out of catchers.
Yeah, I just don't have enough catchers.
That guy's won a few games.
Boy, and the consistency of their coaching staff. Dave Righetti back for his 17th season. Ron Wotus sitting to his side there, the bench coach, 18 years.
By the way, how has Ron Wotus never got a managerial job?
I don't know. Really good baseball man right there to Bruce Bochy's right. We were actually teammates when I made my brief adventure into the American League with the Blue Jays and got released. I re-signed with the Giants, and they initially sent me here to Phoenix to play for the then Phoenix Giants. And Ron Wotus was a utility infielder on that team.
Kottaras launches one foul over the Giant bullpen. How'd that go?
Well, it was great. I mean, I didn't get much playing time in Toronto, obviously, so the Giants wanted me to get some at-bats before calling me up to the major league. So I went down here to Phoenix and played a little bit of third base, a little bit of first base, caught a little bit, and when I played third base, I borrowed Ron Wotus's glove. It ruined it.
I was going to say, I'm surprised he let that happen. Given what had happened at third earlier.
That wasn't my glove either. That was Brad Wellman's. Maybe I should have gotten my own third baseman glove. Huh?
I hope he burned it after that. Looks like Adam Lowen is warming up, the big left-hander in the Diamondback bullpen. Bracho now at 16 pitches, working on back-to-back nights, and the command has not been sharp tonight for a guy whose command is normally excellent. Three-one pitch. He's given up a home run and a walk in this inning, Silvino Bracho. And here comes Mike Butcher. Here's Adam Lowen, and he has one of the most amazing stories in baseball. Trying to win a job as a left-hander with the Diamondbacks. Big lefty, 6'6". He's a guy who's gone from major league starting pitcher to major league outfielder, and now back to a major league pitcher, this time as a reliever. And a lot of time in the minor leagues all in between there. He was a first-round pick by Baltimore in 2002, the 4th overall pick in the draft that year. But it just never worked out for him as a starter with the Orioles. Had a stress fracture in his elbow. He was a pretty good hitter, so he said, oh, I'll convert to an outfielder. Same thing as David Peralta. Did that in the Blue Jays organization for a while. And appeared briefly in the major leagues as an outfielder. Went back down to the minors and said, well, all right, I'm going to go back to pitching. And had a pretty good season last year as a reliever in the Phillies system. And then was back in the big leagues actually against the Diamondbacks last year. D-backs faced him a couple of times. And now he's here with Arizona trying to win a bullpen job. Tomlinson at second, Kataris at first. 1 out. 0-1 on Grant Green, the first baseman, who doubled in the fourth. He's 1 for 3. Right by Steve Decker, the third base coach. JR is on it in there. Bracho ahead 0-2. Remember, Giants are back here tomorrow afternoon. A 1:10 start here at Salt River Fields. Robbie Ray for the D-backs and Matt Cain for San Francisco. Our next TV game on Fox Sports Arizona is here Friday afternoon, a 1:10 start against the Cleveland Indians. How about that? Shelby Miller and Corey Kluber, BB, in that game. It's a good TV game on Friday for you. And Green is wearing out Bracho.
Kluber against Shelby Miller. That's the morning you should eat a sinker, because you're going to see a lot of sinkers from those two guys.
And as you always say,
yeah, you got to eat a sinker to hit a sinker. Sometimes two.
All right, I'll bring the donuts. Grant Green has succeeded in bringing things to a halt here in the 8th inning. Brett Hayes out there for a word. Adam Lowen looks ready in the Diamondback bullpen. Bracho now well over 20 pitches.
Partner, we had a reunion of sorts before the ball game tonight. Sean Dunston with the Giants tonight, coaching first base. Of course, long-time Cubby shortstop. Teammate of Mark Grace's, and I saw Gracie walk across the field when the Giants got here, went down into that first base dugout. I can only imagine that conversation.
It was a good run. And Bracho finally wins the battle against Grant Green. That's the second strikeout in the inning for Silvino Bracho. And it brings up the shortstop, Rando Moreno. But Chip Hale is going to go out there and get the right-hander. So it's the pitcher turned outfielder, turned back to pitcher. Adam Lowen on his way in. We'll take a break from Scottsdale. the talking stick. He's got some moves.
He'll be asleep in the car before they get out to Via de Ventura.
Diamondbacks trailing the Giants, 2 outs in the 8th inning. Here's the left-hander Adam Loewen, 6'6", a guy who has gone from major league starting pitcher to major league outfielder, now back to big league pitcher, this time in a relief role. And a lot of time in the minor leagues in between all of that, playing for the Orioles, the Blue Jays, the Mets, the Phillies, and now here trying to win a spot with the Diamondbacks after signing a minor league deal last October. Kelby Tomlinson is at second. George Gutaris is the runner at first. Rando Miareno, the shortstop. Loewen, 20 appearances with the Phillies last year, all in relief. He spent much of last season pitching for their AAA team, the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, in the International League, and did very well there, a 2.15 ERA. 60 strikeouts in 46 innings. A slow bouncer to third. Drury will barehand that he's got no play. The bases are loaded. We'll bring up the new center fielder, Gorkys Hernandez. Hernandez, 282 this spring. He's got 4 steals. He runs very well. Tomlinson at third, Gutaris the catcher at second, and Miareno at first. In the air along the right field line. And a nice running grab right there. Just along the edge of the bullpen. Chad Oberacker with a nice catch. Bottom 8 coming up. Oberacker goes and gets it. Diamondbacks trail the Giants 7-4. He's already hit 2 homers. He is checked out, replaced by Junior Arias in right field for the Giants. Hey fans, MLB.TV Premium, everything you've come to expect and more. New low price in 2016. You're going to watch every out-of-market game of all 30 teams live in True HD on over 400 supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions do apply, so check out MLB.TV for all the details. There's Arias in right field now. Here's Stratton back out there. And Brent Hayes, the catcher, leads it off. He's 4 for 18 this spring. Chad Oberacker is on deck. He'll be next.
Really nice running catch by Oberacker to end that last half inning. Right over near the railing there in right field. I expected him to go into some kind of a slide to maybe protect himself against the barrier, but he ran right up to it and made the catch.
He'll get a chance to hit coming up next. 3-1 now on Hayes. Leadoff walk. Second walk issued by Stratton. So here is Chad Oberacker, left-hand hitter, 27 years old, out of Tennessee Tech. Spent last year in the Oakland A's organization at Double-A Midland, hit .294 with 5 home runs. That's the Midland Rockhounds in the Texas League. Here was Oberacker's grab to win the top of the 8th inning up against the bullpen fence out there.
Never took his eye off the baseball, and you can see the height of that fence right there, about knee level. That's why most guys choose to slide up against that padded wall, but Oberacker went right up to it and made the play.
25th round pick 5 years ago out of Tennessee Tech. He has spent his entire career in the Oakland A's system. One and two. Headed for the seats behind the D-back dugout. Another big crowd here tonight, 12,713. Another sellout in Scottsdale.
Double flap helmet for Oberacker. It's a pretty good indicator that the guy's up from minor league camp just for the day.
The number 87 with no name on the back is another dead giveaway.
That's another tip off, yeah.
He's out of Erie, PA. He's worked at full 3-2. Brandon Drury on deck. He'll be next. Nobody out. Hayes at first. All four. Stratton has walked the first two in the 8th. And that's it. Here comes Bruce Bochy. He'll make the move. Pitching change in Scottsdale. Back after this. got the tying run at the plate. Nobody out here to face the new pitcher. It's the right-hander, Mike Broadway. His 7th appearance this spring so far. So good, pretty much.
Made his major league debut against the Diamondbacks last June. Was called up and activated when Hunter Pence went on the disabled list. That's one of those situations where you lose a position player, but your bullpen is so tattered you call up a pitcher.
That can't be good.
No.
So it's Hayes at second, Oberacker at first. Nobody out. Brandon Drury will step in. Struck out looking his first time up. Took over for Jake Lamb at third. Jake was 2 for 2 tonight, pair of singles. And Drury comes into this one with 3 homers and 9 RBIs on the spring. He's got 9 extra base hits in Cactus League play. He has been a doubles machine throughout his minor league career. 6 doubles and 3 homers this spring. Drury was the Diamondbacks' best hitter in spring training last year. He had .435. And he's looked just as good this spring. He has really opened a lot of eyes, says Chip Hill. Brandon, his big league debut last September. 20 games with the Diamondbacks, hit .214, couple of home runs. Both those homers coming in one series at Dodger Stadium, of all places, so that worked out. Going to tie it up here with one swing.
Well, you can certainly do that. He has that kind of power. So does the guy in the on-deck circle. A chance possibly for the Diamondbacks to jump right back into this one.
Peter O'Brien. A little nubber to first. Green. Broadway covers. And the runners move along. Second and third now, 1 out for O'Brien.
Brian has all kinds of measuring sticks. You saw him lay that bat down on home plate. That tells him where the front foot should be. Then he angled it. That's where the back foot should be. And you'll see with his hands here, he chokes up a little bit, about 1 finger off the knob. And he'll move his hands around there and make sure he's got it exactly where he wants it.
He has sort of blossomed in front of the coaches, said Chip Hill last week against Peter O'Brien. 3 home runs this spring.
Yeah, it's funny that you measure to find out exactly where your feet should be in that batter's box because, as we know, not every guy likes to stand in exactly the same place. Some guys stand on the far back line. Other guys like to move a little bit more forward toward the pitcher.
There it goes.
Oh,
Peter O'Brien sends it off into the night.
Whoa.
And we're all tied up. Peter O'Brien, a 3-run homer. And it's 7-7. He just launched one out of here. And that's that raw power that we have heard and seen so much of in Peter O'Brien's time with the Diamondbacks. He got every bit of that one. That was launched.
That was a blast to left field. No wind right now at all. Earlier in the ball game, we had a stiff wind blowing out. This one didn't need any help. You could see Broadway's reaction on the mound. He's heard that sound before. This ball is way up near the back of the berm out there.
7-7 in the 8th. Socrates Brito. Look out, Broadway. That was on a rope to center. Brito, a 1-out single.
Some real loud contact, the last two guys that make their way up to the plate. O'Brien with that tape measure home run to left field, and then Brito about takes Broadway's head off with a line drive up the middle.
Brings up the leadoff man, Phil Gosselin. Try to get that go-ahead run in scoring position here. Brito, a lot of speed down there.
Yeah, I think it's worth a shot. You know, it's spring training. This is a time to take some chances and see what guys are capable of doing. Can you get a good jump in a situation where we really need you to steal a base?
Got an excellent contact man up there in Gosselin. Brito holds it first. That one is down and away, ball one. Brito takes off. He got a great jump. Kataris' throw is not in time. Stolen base using the Socratic method. And the go-ahead run is in scoring position.
We got a great jump out there. Broadway's quick to home plate using that slide step, but Brito had a little bit of a lean going towards second base, and as soon as that front foot came up off the mound, he was off like a shot to second base.
And he used the go-ahead run with one out in the eighth. Diamondbacks have won 5 straight and 13 of their last 14. Trying to make it 6 in a row tonight. 2-0. Peter O'Brien, 3/4 of the way up the berm and left. Rio is in there for a strike. Gosselin's homered twice this spring. He's knocked in 6. Third walk in the inning by Giants pitching. First who scored on the O'Brien homer. Brito at second, Gosselin at first, Sean Jamison the shortstop now. Numbers with AAA Las Vegas this year, or last year, 233 home runs. One and two. D-backs got a walk-off win last night. They came from behind to beat the Brewers. Nick Ahmed, a 2-out walk-off single in the 9th. And trying to come from behind late in the ball game again tonight. 3 runs already in, and that one got him.
He must have got the handle of the bat. He's not making any move to first base, grabbing his hand or anything.
Good.
Ball runs up and in. Might hit the knob. Seen that happen before.
Doesn't seem to be in any pain whatsoever. Just inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Joaquin Arias on deck. On the ground to shortstop. Moreno, and they turn 2. Bloodway gets out of the jam, but Peter O'Brien launches one into the Scottsdale night, a 3-run homer, his 4th this spring. Way out of here. We'll go to the 9th, tied at 7. Between innings, Chip Hale in the dugout. That's the Chip skip.
You're talking about high energy players. You like to have guys like that on your team, but when your manager is as constant motion as Chip Hale is, you don't need so many players to be energetic in that dugout.
New pitcher for the Diamondbacks, the hard-throwing right-hander. It's big Enrique Burgos, his 6th appearance this spring, a 1.80 ERA. And he has picked up a new pitch that Chip Hale calls devastating. It's a split-fingered fastball, and he broke it out for the first time at the urging of the coaches Saturday night against the Mariners in Peoria. And Chip said that Burgos threw that split finger 4 or 5 times, and it was as good as the coaches have seen it. So we'll keep an eye out for that here. They have been pushing him to use it, and he finally is developing some confidence and some conviction in that split. Austin Slater, Double-A Richmond Squirrels last year, hit just under 300.
Couple of off-speed deliveries to start the sequence, and then sneaks a fastball in there on the outside corner, but doesn't get the call from Bill Miller behind the plate.
Jamison at shortstop. 1 down. Well, here's a look at one of the top prospects in the Giants system. He's only 20 years old. He'll be 21 in May. It's Christian Arroyo. 7 hits in 13 ABs this spring, including a home run. First round pick by the Giants 3 years ago out of Brooksville, Florida. And they like this young man a lot. Arroyo last year, 90 games in the Cal League at Class A San Jose, hit .304 with 9 home runs.
All you need to know about Christian Arroyo is he was named Player of the Year by the Florida Dairy Farmers Association.
It's a very prestigious honor.
I'm telling you.
Native of Brooksville. 2 balls and a strike. Enrique Burgos, one of those power right-handers we've mentioned, competing for a bullpen spot. Big hard fastball, the wipeout slider, now the split finger fastball. He averaged 13 strikeouts for 9 innings pitched with the Diamondbacks last year. 2-2 on Arroyo.
That's a splitter.
I was going to say that looked like that split finger fastball right there, and that is, as Chip Hale said, devastating. Here's a look.
His delivery really lends itself to the split finger fastball. Number one, he's got big hands. That really helps to be able to split that index and middle finger wide apart on the baseball and then just throw it like a fastball. Roger Craig, my former manager with the San Francisco Giants, was the split finger guru. And he liked guys that had real over-the-top deliveries as opposed to low 3/4, guys with big hands, and just throw it like a fastball. Don't try to do anything different. Don't try to turn it. Don't try to take speed off of it. Just split your fingers on the baseball and throw it like a fastball.
Junior Arias now. Here's the motion.
He really gets on top of that pitch. As I said, his delivery really lends itself to that split finger.
Well, Chip talking about Burgos throwing that splitter Saturday in Peoria. They thought it was the best they'd seen him since early last year. Remember, Chip sort of fell in love with Burgos over the course of the year and wore him out a bit. That's a split finger grip right there. There it is again. The split fingered fastball of Enrique Burgos. He's got himself a new toy. Bottom 9 coming up. Jenny, don't lose that number. 7-7, Giants and D-backs bottom 9 here. And it was like the UN down there. It was a real negotiation going on with Ron Wotus, Bruce Bochy, and Chip Hale.
home plate umpire Bill Miller. They needed some attorneys down there. Serious conversation is how much more can you play tonight if the game stays tied? How are you fixed for pitchers from this point forward? What do we want to do? Not quite sure what the final decision was, but score a run right here, it makes it all a moot point.
Are you a believer in numerology?
I can be if it's good.
Well, this might you might like this. Here's number 77 in the ball game in a 7-7 ball game. It's Jake Dunning, the right-hander. So who knows what this could lead to? Sevens are wild here as Joaquin Arias leads off the Diamondback ninth in a 7-7 ball game. A slow roller to shortstop. Moreno. We have a StatCast number on the Peter O'Brien homer. Check this out. 461 feet in the eighth inning. 120 miles an hour off the bat. 1-2-0 off the bat. His fourth of the spring. Mitch Haniger getting that bat now. Haniger acquired by the Diamondbacks in the Gerardo Parra deal from Milwaukee. That one got Gutierrez and Miller back there.
Snuck around the side of Bill Miller's mask. The umpire looked like it caught him on the collarbone, up into the right ear, jaw area there. He's still rubbing it.
Mitch Haniger, a first-round pick by Milwaukee in the draft 4 years ago. On a Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. That one's foul. Haniger last year, just over 100 games in the minor leagues, split between Visalia and Mobile. Hit .310. with 13 home runs. 25-year-old right-hand hitter. There is action in both bullpens, by the way. We may keep playing, we may not. Who knows? Diamondbacks got a walk-off win in the ninth last night. They beat Milwaukee on Nick Ahmed's single. Steve Hathaway warming up in the Diamondback bullpen. He did not go. Two and two now. Full count. Brett Hayes, the catcher, on deck. These two teams have to be back here tomorrow for a 1 o'clock game. About 10:15 here in the Valley.
Gotta get to bed. Not gonna get much sleep tonight.
3-2. Mitch Haniger out of San Jose, California. Archbishop Mitty High School there. Might have been a Giant fan growing up. 3-2 pitch. Got him. Brett Hayes now with 2 down. Walked and scored his last time up. Came in on the O'Brien homer. Four for 18 this spring for Brett. That one almost hit Gonzo. They're ready. Let's go one more. I'm going to try and catch a home run ball.
They're here early for tomorrow's game.
Brett Hayes, 32-year-old catcher, played last season in the Indian system. 14 big league games with the Tribe. Had only 5 hits with Cleveland, but 3 of them were home runs. That would do nicely right here.
Yes, indeed.
Out of Sherman Oaks, California. Played at Nevada. One and two.
Seems kind of funny that the Giants, one of their issues is a backup catcher, which is what Bruce Bochy was pretty much his entire career.
Yeah.
Caught behind Terry Kennedy for a long time.
Padres.
Benito Santiago with the Padres.
Well, that's the strikeout, but hold the phone. And let's see what we decide to do here. Are we going to keep playing? Is that it? We're going to keep going. Back with the 10th after this. Argument against a Giant team that played a game earlier today against the White Sox over in Glendale. Now, how does that work?
Well, I mean, really it all comes down to, do you have any arms left? Can you go another inning? Because a lot of times, especially on a split squad day, you might only bring enough pitchers to get through the game and maybe one extra guy in case somebody gets hurt. So if extra innings are a possibility, sometimes you just have to say, hey, we'll take the tie and get on the bus and go home. But apparently both teams have some arms available, so we're going to play at least one extra inning.
New pitcher for the Diamondbacks, the left-hander out of West Acton, Massachusetts, and Franklin Pierce College in New Hampshire. It's Steve Hathaway. 14th round pick by the D-backs 3 years ago. And had good numbers at Class A Visalia last year for J.R. House. 29 strikeouts in 27 innings, an ERA of 2. He went 5-1. 29 appearances, all in relief. His overall numbers in the minor leagues. Started out at Kane County and then went to Visalia.
We have another number 77.
I love when that happens. Jake Dunning, the pitcher, currently wearing number 77. This is Aramis Garcia, a backup catcher, also conveniently wearing 77. There was a guy the other day in the Reds game who had no number.
No number, no name.
There's nothing on the back of his shirt.
We're not even sure he was a player.
It might not have been.
Snuck down on the field,
Just
bought himself a Reds jersey at the team shop.
It worked. 3-1 now on Aramis Garcia. Steve Hathaway, left-hander, 6'1", 185. He's 25 years old. Franklin Pierce. Bring him up and set him down. Score one for New Hampshire there. No good strikeout numbers in the Cal League last year for Hathaway. Kelby Tomlinson has played the whole ball game. He had a 2-run triple and a 4-run Giant first. Singled his last time up. So in a 7-7 game, the Giants have figured out a way to have 2 number 77s.
According to my unofficial calculations here, the Diamondbacks pitchers tonight have punched out 16 Giants.
They've out-hit the Giants 12-10. Ruby De La Rosa struck out 9. He went 5 2/3. Silvino Bracho struck out 2. Jake Barrett struck out 2. Enrique Burgos struck out 2. And now Hathaway bidding for his second strikeout. This one has turned into the intimacy of a fall league game here at Salt River. Original crowd of 12,713, another sellout, but it is thinned somewhat here as we approach 10:30 local time. They'll complete the strikeout. So 2 strikeouts for Hathaway. Wasn't it Miss Hathaway and Milburn Drysdale's assistant in Beverly Hillbillies?
Beverly Hillbillies, yes indeed.
Miss Hathaway.
Miss Hathaway had a thing for Jed.
You think?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Jethro?
No, the old man.
Oh, Jed Clampett.
Yeah, she liked Jed. Jed had all the dough, yeah. Miss Hathaway was looking to escape Mr. Drysdale.
George Kataris. He has struck out 3 times and walked.
She could have thrown him in the cement pond.
Yep. Well, Steve Hathaway is a strike away from getting the side in order here. 1, 2, 3.
One thing, I see these new jerseys, and I can't help but think every time I see him, he's got a bunch of pine tar on his shoulder.
Steve Hathaway out of Franklin Pierce. 3 up, 3 down, 3 punch outs. Bottom 10 coming up. Giants and the new pitcher for San Francisco. It's the left-hander Ricky Romero, the former Blue Jays great. He has not pitched in the major league since 2013 and is trying to make a comeback here with the Giants. Ricky Romero was an all-star for the Blue Jays in 2011, a 15-game winner. A 2.92 ERA in 32 starts, but then it just started to go south for him. The next year, he led the league in walks. Had some injury issues, and he's not pitched in the big leagues in nearly 3 years.
That 2011 All-Star game was held right here in Arizona. He did not get into that ball game, but he was a member of the American League squad.
First-round pick by the Blue Jays out of Cal State Fullerton back in 2005. He was the 6th overall pick in the draft. Oberacker leads it off. And we're assuming that this will be it. Then again,
Bill Miller just decided this is going to be it.
Ricky's strike percentage might go up. Bounce that one. Long day, Cactus League baseball. That's a foul ball. This is the second half of a day-night split squad double dip for the Giants. Half their team was in Glendale this afternoon, where they lost to the White Sox 8-7. Brandon Belt homered in that game. Matt Latos was pummeled. Jake Peavy had 8 strikeouts for the Giants. Romero bouncing some pitches up there. 2-2. Green at first. Brandon Drury now. Giants rotation's been a little sketchy lately. They had to skip a start for Madison Bumgarner. He was dealing with rib cage discomfort, some pain in his left foot. Came back to work Saturday against Oakland, and Mad Bum was roughed up in that ball game. 5 earned runs, 7 hits, and only 2 2/3. Here's Drury. Johnny Cueto got his pitch count up in a minor league game Sunday. Through 74 pitches, 50 for strikes. His fastball command has not been great this spring. But Cueto says when they turn on the lights when the season starts, everything will be different. We'll see. He threw a lot of innings last year. And Jeff Samardzija became the first Giant pitcher to go 6 in a Cactus League game yesterday. In a loss to the A's at Scottsdale. Samardzija 6 runs, 6 hits, including 2 home runs. And his ERA through 5 spring starts is over 8.5. And Matt Cain, who starts here tomorrow afternoon against Robbie Ray, he had to be shut down this spring to have a cyst removed from his arm, but he's back in action. So it has not been a banner spring for the Giants rotation. Our next TV game on Fox Sports Arizona, brought to you by Ram Trucks, Friday, and it's a good one. Against the Indians here, a 1:10 start. Shelby Miller and Corey Kluber. We'll have that game for you on TV. Robbie Ray and Matt Cain here tomorrow at 1. That game on the web, dbacks.com. Diamondbacks Thursday are at Peoria to take on the Padres. There's still no word on who will start that game. 1-2 pitch. Got him. Well, here's the man who tied it up in the 8th inning, Peter O'Brien. And what a home run it was. 461 feet, his 4th of the spring, 120 miles an hour off the bat. Just tremendous power. He's got 4 home runs and 14 RBIs this spring. There's a strike going on.
Not sure what that is. He's throwing at 84, 83 miles an hour, but it only makes it about 50 feet to home plate.
It's just not working. Ricky used to be a really good pitcher in the AL East. And something happened along the way where he just kind of lost it. And still trying to find it now. Ricky's 31 years old. He'll be 32 in November. Ahead of O'Brien, a ball and 2 strikes. In the air, right field. It's going to stay in the yard for Arias. And that's the end of the 10th. Bruce Bochy is waving goodbye and walking off the field. I'm out of here.
That's enough.
So the Diamondbacks get their 2nd tie of this Cactus League season. They are 17-4-2. It's the first tie for the Giants. We'll finish this one 7-7 after 10.
A lot to like about this ball game. Of course, Ruby De La Rosa struggled early, but a lot of strikeouts for the Diamondbacks pitching staff tonight. The guys that came in out of that bullpen really did a nice job.
7-7 the final. Same 2 teams here tomorrow afternoon, a 1 o'clock start. You can listen to that game on the webcast, dbacks.com. Our next TV game is Friday, also a 1 o'clock start right here against the Cleveland Indians. Don't miss that one. Shelby Miller for the Diamondbacks and Corey Kluber for the Tribe. Diamondback Spring Training Baseball brought to you by Ram Trucks. We'll see you again on the TV side here Friday. So long, everybody.